Atlantic City was once one of the nation's leading getaway towns as people looked to beat the summer city heat down by the ocean. But the millions of tourists who flocked here by train in the early 1900s disappeared in the 1950s and 60s as air travel opened up a whole new world to vacationers. The city's last great hope was hosting the 1964 Democratic Convention.
For decades, Atlantic City has called itself the nation's playground. Now, however, world focus is on a different type of attraction at Atlantic City, the Democratic National Convention.
But with Lyndon Johnson having a lock on the nomination, the press needed something to write about. The city is a decaying resort made for the perfect topic.
The 1964 convention helped to bury the hatchet deeper into Atlantic City.
Longtime radio talk show host Pinky Kravitz remembers the press writing about the city's dilapidated hotels, some with running salt water, others with only paper towels for their guests. The results were devastating.
We started seeing that we were getting fewer conventions coming to town because they heard the story about we couldn't handle them.
What was supposed to be a shot in the arm turned into a punch in the gut. The city never recovered. 10 years later, with homes and businesses boarded up, they realized there was only one thing that could save this town: casino gaming.
The town was dying.
Jim Whalen has been Atlantic City's mayor since 1990.
Atlantic City was really struggling by the time the referendum passed in 1976, and the hope was that it would revitalize the city and bring it back.
The first step came Memorial Day weekend of 1978 with the opening of the city's first casino, Resorts International. The results were overwhelming.
Crowds were lined up on the boardwalk here, probably about 300 deep, trying to get into the casino. It was the first legal gambling on the East Coast. They were going nuts, and they let them in one at a time as somebody left. It was an amazing situation.
With the opening of resorts, the turnaround was just beginning. And while the casinos would return the promised tours to Atlantic City, they were tourists that many businesses would never see. We'll look at that issue in part 2 of our series, as well as some of the other problems created by casino gaming. In Atlantic City, John Kosich, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.